This is your app. And these are links on the internet that send people to it every day. Free downloads without paying for ads. I want that for you. So I boiled down what I learned over 13 years of marketing apps into a 3-pillar formula. These marketing tactics helped me get over 11 million downloads across all my apps. As a solo mobile app developer, I bootstrap all my apps with no funding. So every new app has a zero budget to start with. All I have is knowledge that I learned from my previous apps, which I will share with you in this video. But before we dive in, let me remind you why app marketing is so important. The app stores today are oversaturated. For every app idea, there are thousands of apps fighting for the same keyword. When you publish a new app, it goes down to the bottom of the App Store. It does not matter how many new features you add in, no one will get to see them. The mission of every indie app developer should be to build free streams of traffic, where people find a piece of content on the internet which leads them to our app. This is called organic traffic. The first tactic I want to discuss is App Store Optimization, ASO. This is one of the most powerful, evergreen and free marketing tactics that you can use. ASO is a process to increase our app's visibility on the App Store. The aim is to ultimately get more downloads. Okay, so when discussing ASO, there are two important points to remember. Number one is increasing the number of people visiting our App Store page by ranking higher for relevant keywords. The second point is getting a higher conversion rate of people downloading our app when they visit the App Store page. There are many factors that affect how many people visit our App Store page, and these are essentially factors that affect the App Store algorithm and how it ranks our app when people search for it. The first ranking factor is obviously the app title and subtitle, and in this section we should only put the important keywords because it has a lot of effects of how our app ranks. And obviously we should not repeat keywords between our title and subtitle because it won't matter, it will be just wasting space. The second field is the keyword field, and here we can place keywords that don't fit in the title or the subtitle. We should not be repeating keywords from the title or the subtitle. We should not be using prepositions like on for because these will be given for us free by the algorithm. We should not be using brand names because this has a high chance of banning our app. We should also not be using spaces. We should be instead using a comma between the keywords with no spacing, and we should use keywords in singular only. So for example, instead of adding calorie and calories, we should only add calorie. The third element is the app description, and this has no effect on the algorithm whatsoever. The fourth element is the screenshots, and this was traditionally not indexed by Apple, but recently Apple might be using AI to read the text. So we should start the screenshots with the important keywords, and this is essentially another place where we can put our keywords that don't fit in the title and subtitle. Although sometimes in my apps I repeat keywords from the title and subtitle here to make sure that the people seeing the screenshots understand the app immediately as well. Recently on Twitter there were also some rumors that Apple might be recognizing the images on the screenshots, so it's important to add images that make sense for our application. So for example, if our app is about exercise, we should include a person doing exercise so that Apple understands it better. The fifth factor is reviews. Apple uses the app reviews to rank our app, so we should be asking our users to give us reviews for our app. A trick I use for this is to ask users for reviews after they complete something positive. So for example, after they complete a workout successfully, or for example, after they finish a game successfully, and this gives us a higher chance of getting a higher app rating. The final 2 points that Apple uses are the frequent app updates, how frequent we update our app, and the performance of our app. So we need to make sure that our app doesn't crash a lot, else Apple will put it down the search. When thinking about the conversion rate, we always need to remember that there are humans in the loop. So humans will be seeing these factors and deciding if they should download the app or not. The most important factor for the conversion rate is the first 3 screenshots. So here we need to use psychology techniques to ensure that people download our app. So the first tip is to focus on benefits, not features. People can relate better with benefits and how the app will affect them rather than how the app works or the features. The second point is to obviously use clear text and images which people can read and understand. And we can also use credibility badges. For example, the app is used by 10,000 people or something like that. The second element, the second factor is the description. People don't read this a lot. It doesn't matter as much as the screenshots, but we should still design the description for the human because the Apple algorithm doesn't read it anyway, so we should target it for the people downloading our app. And the third point, like most marketing, when there's humans involved, we should do A/B testing because we don't know how humans will react to our marketing material. The important thing to remember when doing ASO is that you're not doing it just for the human downloading your app, but you're also doing it for the App Store algorithm to index your app on the App Store. ASO is one of the hardest marketing to do because it's always changing. For example, the App Store used to give 1 week boost to every new app to learn how users interact with it. However, Apple recently removed this, most probably to fight off the high influx of AI-generated apps that are saturating the App Store, which is essentially a good thing, but it also affects how we do ASO ourselves. Okay, that was a lot about ASO. Let's move on to the next tactic. The second tactic I want to discuss is building a website. This might sound simple, but trust me, it's very important because it's the single point that ties our marketing together. Essentially, when I have a win, like my app getting featured somewhere, or I create a new piece of content, my site gets more domain authority. Google uses this authority index to rank sites in search. So more authority means more views and more downloads. And this creates like a marketing loop where you get more views, more downloads, more domain authority, which leads you back to more views. As an example, let me show you my latest app, TinyFast. It's a macOS app that shrinks almost any file locally on Mac. When I created the website, the domain authority was 0.5. Google wasn't even ranking the name, it was suggesting something else. So there was no way people will find it with search. After the launch and using some tricks which I will share later, the domain authority went up to 26. This is huge because now Google ranks it number 1 if people search for the app by name. The last reason why you want to build a site is because you own it. If Google or Apple remove your app from the App Store, you still have your site with the domain authority to rebuild your business. When it comes to effective website search engine optimization, I found that these strategies work the best for app websites. First of all, improving the domain authority with free backlinks. I will talk about this in more detail a bit later. Second strategy is adding a few pages on the website close to the app's main functionality. For example, for my app TinyFast, I added some pages about compression. The third hack is to add a few JavaScript tools on your website which your target audience will find useful and stick around to use. The fourth hack is programmatic SEO. This might not be possible for all apps, but it's essentially when you have a lot of pages generated from the app's data. For example, on one of my landing pages, I added a free social media marketing calendar which feeds from the app's internal data. The fifth point is to obviously monitor your SEO efforts using the Google Search Console. If you're building a website, a very important point is your landing page optimization. To build my landing pages, I use the StoryBrand framework. It is discussed in this book by Donald Miller. In this framework, you essentially imagine the user as a character which has a problem, and your website is the guide that will help him solve it. So I suggest you look it up and start using it. If you want something simpler and more straightforward to implement, take a look at this tweet by Dan Kulkov. It will give you a step-by-step overview of what your landing page should include. To monitor how effective your site is, I found this trick. You can use Apple's acquisition tools to know how many people coming from your website are buying in-app purchases inside the app. To do this, go to the App Store console, select your app, and then tap on Acquisition and Campaigns. Here you can generate a trackable link which you can add on your site. You can also make this dynamic by changing the city parameter. This is useful if you want to track a Facebook ad campaign or something similar. If you want something simpler, you can also use the Sources tab. The third marketing tactic I want to share with you is how I launch my apps. Every time I release a new app, I submit it to different websites. I call this my app launch tour. It's a good way to get the word out about the app quickly. The huge benefit of this is to get good feedback early on and to get free backlinks for your website, which will increase the domain authority early on. So here are the websites that work really well for me. Number 1 is Hacker News. Hacker News is a social news website focusing on tech and entrepreneurship. It is run by Y Combinator. They have a specific section to share your apps. You can simply share an article about your app by simply adding Show HN before the title. I tried Hacker News for the first time with my app Short Wraps. The post was upvoted to 3rd place on the front page, which generated a lot of traffic to my website, leading to around 700 downloads in a few hours. To put this into perspective, if I had to use paid ads to get the same amount of downloads, it would have costed me around $700. If you decide to post your app here, make sure to read their etiquette because this site has very specific guidelines. Also, posts which are more geeky or scientific tend to work better here because the audience is mainly entrepreneurs and tech enthusiasts. If your post doesn't get upvoted, you will still have a huge win because you will get a backlink from a DR91 site. The second site is Product Hunt. This year alone, I submitted 7 apps on Product Hunt. I always get some traffic from a launch here, but nothing big. However, my last launch of TinyFast, which is a macOS app, got upvoted 300 times and it ended up on the Product Hunt front page. This generated a huge amount of traffic and a spike in downloads, which I would have never got if I didn't publish my app here. One thing to keep in mind that the audience of Product Hunt is almost all entrepreneurs and developers. So in the case of TinyFast, it makes sense that it went up to the front page because it's essentially a tool designed for developers, so it will resonate more with this audience. Product Hunt also has a domain rating of 91, so putting a link here helps a lot with SEO. Something which I tried recently is submitting my app to a lot of different directories. Although they bring in some traffic, I don't do this for the traffic, but I do this to get free backlinks. This was one strategy that helped me increase the domain rating of TinyFast from 0.5 to 26 in a few weeks. When doing this, to save time, you can use services which submit your app to multiple directories at once. It's important to only submit your app to directories which have a domain rating above 10. A domain rating of less than 10 might flag your website as spam with Google, so you don't want to do it. Another very important channel is Reddit. This involves a lot of hard work, but if done right, it will bring a lot of traffic. However, if you're not careful, you will get banned from a lot of communities. Some communities also require that you need a karma of above 100, so sometimes you need to contribute before you can post. It is very important to choose the right community to put your post in. Posting in communities where the audience is mainly indie hackers, like Launch in Public, will not work. You might get a lot of upvotes but no downloads. Another tactic I use on Reddit is replying to people asking questions related to my app. To monitor Reddit, I use this free tool called F5bot to get an email notification when someone mentions a keyword that I track. If you think Reddit does not work for marketing, take a look at this. This post on my app, TinyFast, got upvoted more than 400 times. I got a lot of feedback which I can use, and it generated that spike in downloads. And finally, those were my 3 marketing tactics that I use in all my apps. Hopefully, if you hate doing traditional marketing as much as I do, you will find these useful. I will share the chart that I used in this video down below so that you can take a closer look if you want.